back to another death battle reaction video. As per usual, be sure to check out all the links down below in the description, as well as just check out the episode before you come to my video or anyone else's video just in general. Today's episode, Wile Coyote takes on Tomcat. We have the winner of the Tournament of Champions finally going at it after nearly a year, I think, since it ended. I don't exactly remember. But I'm not too familiar with Wile as often because Wile's cartoon was more of a secondary or like an appetizer to the main stuff for Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, you know, the usual Looney Tunes shenanigans. I was more familiar with Tom himself from Tom and Jerry. The first clip I watched of Tom and Jerry was from the movie where they went to Mars, where I think they tried to set up a relationship with a Martian. But Tom and Jerry has always had those funny antics. And some of their jokes did not age well. So we're gonna have the battle of absurd Toonforce. And who do I think is gonna win? Personally, I got no idea. Who I want to win is Tom, because I'm more familiar with him, obviously. And over on Let's Discuss That Battle, I kind of predicted Tom was gonna win. And I still not fully certain because cartoons be wild, yo. Could I be wrong? Definitely. Could this be a tie like Stewie versus Courage? Also definitely. But we will see what happens in the Battle of Toonforce. And here we go!
Wile Coyote, the fastest and furriestest of the Looney Tunes.
Tomcat, the powerhouse pussycat from Tom and Jerry.
The fans voted for it and we're here to deliver.
That we did. Well, most people did.
And
I was
it's
not
our
one of
job
them,
to analyze
sadly.
their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Hooray!
In tales told over a shimmering campfire by the tribes people of North America, there was no figure so cunning, so bold as Coyote. To the Miwok, he was a Prometheus who stole fire from the heavens to give to humanity. To the Sewetmuk, he was a foolish trickster who could die and return to life.
So,
And to the Brothers Warner, he's just
The
a
Brothers
boredom
Warner.
schmuck who can't catch a break.
To this day, the great Coyote stalks the American Southwest, hunting his indefatigable
okay, I'm not gonna be able to
prey,
read the full
the
species thing.
Roadrunner.
Oh,
And
thank
this
you.
modern Wile
so he says.
Coyote is driven by a ruthless
Thank you.
entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, and it drove him straight off a cliff. He'll chase that bird-shaped happily ever after to his own inevitable undoing.
Yay.
Such is the lot of the common man.
You might not expect it from an anthropomorphic canine Job, but Wile was born the son of world-famous hunter Cage E. Coyote. His
Cage
father
E?
raised him from infancy to hound his avian adversary and forbade him to speak until he tasted victory. On the face,
Okay.
an easy task. Coyotes are incredibly adaptable
Wile
predators, capable
mostly
of hunting in
crossable
both
bugs.
rural
Yeah, I think we
and
talked
urban
about that.
environments.
They're also speedy little demons. They can sprint at up to 43 miles per hour.
That's
That's
pretty
cold
damn
comfort
fast.
when that blue meeping bastard can make beams of light look stone still or outrun a car that was moving fast enough to travel through time.
Frankly,
cartoons
it's
are
incredible
wacky,
that
guys.
Wile manages to consistently keep up with his prey at all, but he does.
No, really, it's actually stated that only a, quote, tiny little extra burst of speed separates the Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Huh.
Heck, Bugs Bunny himself
Super
needed to
speed
take super
vitamins.
speed supplements in order to move fast enough to outrun Wile.
But
Ouch.
almost as fast isn't fast enough. Fortunately,
Yeah.
Wile's got an endless assortment of gadgets, gizmos, and reams of blueprints to make up the difference.
He's got your classics like dynamite, anvils, and spring-loaded boxing gloves, along with heavier artillery like heat-seeking missiles, a 10 billion volt electromagnet, and a friggin'
Because why not
trebuchet.
have
A Reddit
everything
favorite.
sponsored by
Many of
Acme?
which he invented himself and uses in excruciatingly detailed schemes that inevitably go awry. Despite being
Such
a
is his fate.
self-described super genius, Wile has an officially measured IQ of 3.
That's the same IQ as a cactus.
Okay, the
Ouch.
test results were
How do you
fake,
calculate
but
an
he's still
IQ for
an
a
idiot.
cactus
So why
exactly?
not let a soulless corporation do the hard work for him?
Acme sells any product that you can imagine, and Wile is their most devoted customer,
Isn't it because he
contributing up
has
to
a unlimited credit card?
99% of its multi-billion-dollar
99%.
revenue.
Thanks for the inherited wealth, Pops. Oh, don't worry, I'm spending it all in one place.
He's got
Acme.
an Acme Book of Magic, Acme Clone-O-Matic, Acme Death Ray, Acme City in a Box, Acme Universal Remote, which can
Because
pause,
why not?
fast forward, and rewind a person through time.
Too bad half the stuff Wile uses is intentionally sabotaged because Acme's board of directors is exclusively Roadrunners. My man
Is that
could
still
not catch a
canon?
break,
Or do you think that's
but
still gonna
he
be
sure
canon
can
in
take some
the
punishment.
movie?
No matter the severity
I
of
don't
his
know.
failures, Wile is still a toon and can bounce back from just about anything.
He's been
Quite
sliced,
literally
stabbed,
and figuratively.
squashed, exploded, melted, blasted into a constellation, and overall verbed for the last 87 years straight.
Damn.
Without ever actually dying. He once got fully disintegrated into ash and popped back up like it was nothing.
Similar to the immortal Coyote of Sewetmuk legend.
He's also shattered the fourth wall tons of times and even left the comic page entirely to catch the Roadrunner.
I think that's
That
common
was
for
so
Toon
close.
Force
Believe
characters
it or
just to
not,
get out of
there
the
is
comics or
actually
so.
a biological reason for these abilities. Loony DNA. Every toon's got it, not just the loony ones. And it's what lets them survive fatal damage
Additional
up to
damage
being
survival,
fully erased off
total
the
erasure
page.
onto occasions.
Essentially
Other things like
dictating the
Furball have
personal
generated
slice
from
of
solar
reality to
destruction, blood
whatever
returns
is
from
funny.
information
Like how
dispersion.
gravity
in
only
Space Jam: A
affects
New
the
Legacy.
Coyote when he looks down.
Toons are immune to the laws of physics as we know them.
That's why Wile
Yeah.
developed a counter to this immortality, the Loony DNA Dissolver, which leaves Toons vulnerable to fatal wounds the same way we are. Yet again,
Ow.
so close. You can't say he hasn't tried everything.
It was Wile's
See that?
experience as a veteran toon that landed him a job at Acme University as
Luniversity?
department chair of the School of Hard Knocks, teaching up-and-coming tiny toons how to use their abilities.
Oh,
So
okay.
Naruto.
Just like Naruto's jutsus, Toonforce works like an
Like
actual
Naruto's
power
jutsus,
system,
okay.
with more experienced toons like Wile who are more powerful than their younger counterparts.
Damn, dude.
That means Wile should be capable of replicating feats and abilities performed by any other Looney Tune, like traveling
guess that
between
makes
different
sense.
mediums or altering the plot of the cartoon he's in.
And my favorite was the time Plucky Duck used Marvin the Martian's matter transmogrifier to suck up the entire universe.
And then suck up the animator animating his universe.
And then
Okay.
suck up the animator's universe for good measure.
Wiley's got a cushy 10-year job teaching that stuff. Impressive for an abject failure at his life mission.
100
He's helped
Roadrunner,
stop
Bugs
a
Bunny,
meteor
Marvin the
from
Martian,
destroying
Energy,
Earth, beat
and the
Monstars
Geico
in
Gecko. Huh.
basketball, and even, oh snap, caught the Roadrunner. Oh wait, never mind, so damn close.
According to 1977's Tweety and Sylvester issue 67, Wile E.
Huh.
Coyote has attempted to catch the Roadrunner 4,776,842 times.
Damn.
Scaling to the present, that's over 10 million failures.
That takes dedication. Or maybe
The fact that they were able to get a
self-destructive
number on that is very
stubbornness,
impressive,
too
I gotta
blinded by
say.
birdlust to see the forest for the trees.
But Acme's intentional malfunctions and Coyote's recklessness don't account for all of his catastrophes. There's
Yeah.
something else, something grander, otherworldly, standing in the way of our furry friends.
I swear to God that was Nagito in the
There's
background.
no other way to say it. God is just plain out to get this guy.
And by
It's-
God,
it's the
we
cartoon
mean the
version of what
closest
happens
thing
to
that
text,
exists for
basically.
Coyote and Roadrunner, Chuck Jones.
Hello, Chuck.
The guy that created him and helped forge the Looney Tunes into how we know him today.
Originally meant to be a parody of earlier chase cartoons like, well, Tom and Jerry,
Huh.
Jones established several rules for their animated shorts that superseded Coyote's reality warping toon abilities.
There were
Rules that
rules to
cover
this?
his obsession, faulty products, and the fact that no outside force, not even the Roadrunner, is to blame for his defeat.
Oh.
Just him.
While other
Okay.
creatives have altered this formula in the decades since Jones's departure, these rules have effectively made the Coyote's defeats cosmically
So for the most part, they've
ordained.
stayed intact?
God nerf
Okay.
Wile E. Coyote. In all our years making Death Battle, we have never seen a handicap like that.
But what else can you expect from our fanatical furry fail son? He's the Sultan of Slapstick, the CEO of Second Place, the swing and a miss superstar. As long as he picks himself back up and dusts off the ashes, that'll never be all, folks,
That-
for Wile E. Coyote.
Well, it's all, folks, if you put in Porky Pig.
The year was 1939. War raged in Europe between the British Tommies and the German Jerrys.
Oh yeah, I
As
remember
the
seeing this
beleaguered
preview,
English
like,
made their
the lore
miraculous
about why
escape
they're
from
called
the
Tom
German
and Jerry is
encirclement
pretty
off the
damn
coast
cool.
of Dunkirk. One might have called the battle game of cat and mouse?
Oh, wow, is that actually where their names come from? I'm looking this up.
Regardless of their names' origin, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera's infamous cat and mouse duo became the undisputed
I also
kings
was
of
surprised at
slapstick
first when
comedy.
previews that they were
formula
talking about
is
Hanna-Barbera
simple, and we all know
before
it. Tom
they
Cat
talked about
chases
Wile's
Jerry
creator and
Mouse
his
around the
spaceship, but
house.
now it
Brutal
makes
bone
sense.
shaking, I felt that in my balls. Violence ensues, and Tom is reprimanded by Mammy Two Shoes.
Who
Is that her actual name?
let's say, very much from the 1940s.
And if you're like me, all you wanted to see was Tom wipe that smug smirk off that little rat's face.
I mean,
Despite
true.
my well-documented hatred of cats, even I've got to cringe at years of propaganda to convince us to side with the filthy, flea-ridden rodent over man's second best friend. Oh, big
Are
yawn.
cats really
House
man's
cats
second
like
best
Tom
friend?
are
I thought that would
actually
be
some
Pet
of Earth's
Rock.
most successful predators. They can run up to 30 miles per hour, leap 6 feet
Okay,
high,
so
and
ro-
despite being
so
commonly
technically we
perceived as
already know Wiley's
nocturnal,
faster
they're
then, huh?
actually crepuscular
Dope.
and hunt in the dawn and evening.
Tom specifically is a British shorthair. They're strong, stocky Roman cats bred to withstand harsh conditions. And for Tom, harsh conditions is an
Technically, harsh
understatement.
conditions
Tom
doesn't
has
mean
collected a
getting blown up
crazy
every single
assortment
day.
of weapons in his war against mouse kind. Sure, most of it is the stuff you can find around the average American household, like baseball bats, lead pipes,
And guns! Lots and lots of guns. But he's got wackier things like a magic wand, a robo-cat, vanishing cream, and a smart cap that gives him all the knowledge in the world.
I'm partial to
Interesting.
the Sword of Light and Dark, which severs you from your own shadow, or the Rewind Remote, which can move your victim backwards through time.
And you can't forget the cat car and cat jet, spelled with K's of course, but just the cat part.
Tom's
Yeah, because the
arsenal
card
is
part would
heavily
be spelled by Mortal
improvisational,
Kombat
which
with a
fits
K.
his
I think we all
quick
know
thinking
that by
fights
now.
over Thanksgiving turkey. Though he often loses his bouts with Jerry, it's not usually because he's dumb or incompetent. Rather, he's just genuinely outplayed.
And
Yeah,
in
that-
defeat,
that's a
he's
good way to
one
put it.
tough son of a gun. He's been crushed, blown up, had every bone in his body broken, shattered, melted, and vaporized to dust.
Ouch.
And survived.
Well, mostly. Tom actually has kicked the bucket multiple times, but
Yeah.
well-known cat fact, he has 9 lives, as established in the episode Heavenly Puss.
That name, dude.
Oh, this was conducting some different
That
kind of
good
research
name,
when we
man.
stumbled on that episode.
My God.
Very funny. Even if Tom starts to use his lives up, he has a potion that just restores them.
Or he can
Yeah.
physically go get them back from hell. We're all
Of
cats,
course you
so-
can.
Extremely hardcore for a tune, but there isn't much of a limit to what Tom can do. He can clone himself.
Yeah, 'cause
levitate
cartoons
in the
are
air,
always gonna be
make his
weird like that.
imagination real, and even break the fourth wall and enter the real world.
Yeah, if you only watch the classic cartoons from the 40s, you may be in for a shock. Tom and Jerry gets buck wild, much like the actual inspirations for their names. Thank you, Google.
Oh, you're
Thank
still
you,
on this?
Google.
Dodoy Whiz. They were actually named after the 2 characters in Pierce Egan's delightful life in London, Jerry Hawthorne and Corinthian Tom. It was adapted to the stage with the title
When was
Tom
that?
and
Like in
Jerry,
the,
which later became a catch-all term in 1800s England for young
Okay.
drunken rabble-rousers.
One could, in fact,
That's-
say that many
it's a
rabbles
cool
were
fact,
roused
though,
the
about Tom
times
and Jerry's name.
destroyed a planet-busting asteroid, lifted up the sun,
Like
and
Droopy
was
the dog?
blown up into
I've
a
seen some of Droopy's
constellation.
cartoons.
And he was just fine. Just a bunch of stars now, but he's okay.
He taked an explosion that launched him through time to the Stone Age and has run through space at massively faster than light speeds.
That shouldn't be a
Youch.
surprise when he and Jerry have been at each other's throats for over 80 years now. But what may
Quite a
surprise
long
you is the
time.
fact that at the end of the day, they're actually friends.
And they've worked together tons of times to save the day.
Yeah, I think
Like
some
when
people
they
forget
helped
about
a
that.
little orphan girl, Robin Starling, find her way home. Oh, that's a nice end to their story.
Don't you believe it? Now is when we have to talk about Tom and Jerry Chase.
Huh?
Long ago, the warrior god, Lord of Sichuan, Erlong Shen, battled the tricksy and indomitable Mouse King atop Peach Mountain.
So
leading
this
the
is a
goddess Celeste to
play
declare
on,
the
like,
two the strongest
Chinese mythology.
warriors in the
I think
realm.
May brought
And they
this up a
were,
little bit.
In fact, Tom and Jerry. They were even stronger than Devil Tom, who repelled corruption by the darkness. This mysterious.
What kind of
malevolent
wacky
force
lore are we
that
getting into,
consumed
guys?
The tree of life, whose branches encompass all of time and space. Banding together, these warriors use the star element to dispel the darkness and save the universe.
What the fuck?
Well, it
I
may
agree.
sound completely insane. It is. Chase is a Chinese mobile gacha game whose lore is not entirely in keeping with the spirit of the source material. However, it is officially licensed.
That's what
by
Mate brought
Warner
up too
Brothers
when he showed all those
Entertainment,
images. Now that I think about it.
which means we have to include it in our research.
So that the gods may grant us.
Hooray for playing gotcha games and no one besides Genshin Impact
Rivalry
players.
aside, though, Tom has actually managed to catch the little rat fair and square a few times.
By my count of the original shorts, 19 times.
And
Yeah.
I could watch him on repeat forever. Too bad he's still a filthy feline. The only kitty I truly respect is named after booze.
Well then, you're in luck.
Yeah.
Because the Tom and Jerry of English literature later became the namesake for a famous Christmas cocktail.
Because there's no better way to get absolutely trashed than with good old Tom and Jerry.
That's one way to put it. That is one way to put it.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a...
death battle.
I thought they were going to say Toon Battle, because that makes the most sense in my head, but I was wrong. House Mouse. Miss Ascolos, or however you want to say that. Domestic cat. Felis catus pertibus victimus. Oh, okay. I remember Richard saying that the voice of Ringmaster was here. So I'm guessing he's doing solo voice work. Greater Roadrunner. Meepus. Meepus. And Coyote. Canis Schmucks. Whee. What a laugh. Fight! Champions Choice Edition! You foolish fool, you cost me my dinner! Okay, there's the Tom scream. Now this episode's fantastic. Ouch! I'm now winning the war zone. Because of course we are.
Come on, you apes! You wanna live forever!
I like how they're just like, what wacky toon stuff can we throw in? Luis, yes! Okay, of course Wile would get. Ah! I can't even finish my thought half the time now. You're despicable. Oh wait, it's the Daffy saying. Oh, there goes the plane. I was like, no. Oh? I for legit thought Tom was gonna say meep meep. Classic! I'm with you there. I'm with you there, Tom. Incoming semi! And we're already out of the comments. What's that Goomba thumbnail? Is that Goomba thumbnail? Should have seen that coming. Quack! Well, that didn't go according to plan. They're just like, let's beat each other up with as many signs as possible. Okay. Ouch. For once, the tiny umbrella works.
Coyote, super genius.
Well, okay, Coyote wins. Okay. Not expecting that.
Oh, thank God one of them actually died this time. I mean, no! Animal cruelty, no!
Considering coyotes eat cats, I'm not surprised.
While both Cat and Coyote were
That sounds
incredibly
like
powerful,
that kind of reminds me of
literal
Bucky and
gods
Fox,
who could
like that
snap
quote
the
from Luke
problems
Cage.
away, they had limitations and weaknesses that could be exploited, especially by each other. Let's first talk their stats.
Yeah.
Both were strong enough to contend
So,
with
this is
universe-threatening
more of a
phenomena,
Wile thing,
but
right?
Comparing Wile to Plucky Duck, Looney Tunes can not only destroy their own universe, but their animators as well.
And while Tom could move faster than light, Wile could keep up with the Roadrunner, who could outspeed a car fast enough to travel
Yeah,
through
no,
time.
that was kind of a
That's
contest from, like, the animal
immeasurably
stats
fast,
alone,
much faster than
honestly,
Tom.
for me.
Wile gets the edge in stats.
Wile's arsenal was a bit better too, believe it or not.
Really?
Even eliminating the devices that have been shown to malfunction, he still countered everything Tom had.
The biggest being the Looney DNA Dissolver, which could render Tom's cartoony healing factor moot and end the fight.
I guess
While
that's
Tom has never been shown to have Looney DNA specifically, the concept clearly has nothing to do with actual DNA molecules.
Looney Tunes
I
have
guess?
been erased completely and still returned, so it's clearly something more fundamental to their essence.
And since the Dissolver works on any tunes, not just the Looney ones, it should apply to Tom. But considering how much of a screw-up Wile is, it wasn't a sure bet. Hell, it could have backfired.
True.
Especially considering how much more competent Tom is.
When it came
Yeah.
to intelligence, Wile's engineering and scheming genius were often defeated by his own ego and stubbornness.
Yeah,
Tom, on
that
the
is
other
very
hand,
fair.
was consistently more flexible, pragmatic, and victorious in his fights. He definitely gets the edge there.
Oh, and
Hooray.
Tom has one other big advantage. He doesn't have God nerfing him.
And that's the big question. Was Tom capable enough to benefit from Wile's narrative-enforced bad luck and see the DNA
Yeah,
Dissolver
it's like
backfire
they have
against
to take
him?
the lore and
Bad
rules of the
luck
character.
is a core part of Wile's character as a cartoon. So let's call it his, toonliness.
To find the answer,
Toonliness.
we dug deep through the bowels
I guess
of
to be fair,
Looney
Chris and I would
Tunes
only play the
lore and
Superman.
ended up in an unexpected place. Space Jam.
Where Wile yet again fails against the Roadrunner, but against the villains of the movie, the Monstars, he actually scores.
And scores again in the sequel, more than anyone else. But according to Chuck Jones's rules,
Yeah.
that shouldn't happen, right?
Throughout his entire history, Wile's cosmically
It's one of
ordained
those, like,
failures
you
only
gotta read
occur
in
when
between the
he's
lines things, I
specifically
guess.
chasing the Roadrunner or other tunes the plot bends around like bugs, because
Yeah.
that's what Chuck Jones's rules were written for: Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons.
Right.
Even then, looking closely, they've been broken a few times throughout the decades, even during Chuck Jones's tenure.
I was about to say, if it was only broken after Chuck, then like, can you apply that? But if it was broken during Chuck's, then yeah, that makes sense.
Especially when the only reason it failed was because of the Roadrunner's intervention, a direct violation of Chuck Jones's limitations on the Coyote.
And especially when it's the only thing that either one had that could kill the other.
Despite
Yeah.
lacking Wile's narrative impediments, and despite having a better track record overall, Tom ultimately had no surefire way to kill Wile, whereas Wile's superior strength, speed,
That's a way to
and
put it.
looting arsenal ensured his victory.
Wile gave one hell of a chase and left Tom Jones in for a rematch.
The winner is Wile
Claps for
Coyote.
Wiley.
Next time on Death Battle.
What do we got? Oh, we're bringing Peter back? Okay, no, it's Miles versus Deku. And Sea-Dog is already screaming everybody's ears off.
Subscribe
Okay.
and join as a member to see
That's,
more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
That's an interesting one to end off of. But hey, you know what? Now people can shut the fuck up about it being only Kickstarter episodes. Let's go ahead and talk about Tom versus Wile first. The fight was a lot of fun, and I liked learning the lore about the characters themselves. Through the whole rule set about Chuck Jones, I thought that was pretty cool, and I liked learning about the origin of Tom and Jerry's name, as I established earlier. So I feel like from a history and like an animation perspective, this was really fun. I had an enjoyable time, and cartoons are always hilarious on the show. I think we can clearly establish that now. As for next time, it's Spider-Man versus Deku. Curious why they didn't say Miles Morales versus Deku, but Deku's getting a second episode since his Season 9 appearance. And from what I hear, this outcome's more so tossed up in the air. The lad server, funny enough, was actually going to do this as like a fun server event. But now I think we're going to have to cancel it because the actual episode's coming out. So, I think this is going to be a fun time. But what do you all think? Leave your thoughts down below. And thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And leave your predictions for Spider-Man versus Deku, actually. I want to take a look at those predictions since the predictions kind of flip-flopped from where it originally was. With that being said, thank you folks for watching, and I will see you all later.